Hey, hello. Hi. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna keep streaming for today until the very end, right? Until we finish the entirety of Questions Arc. At which point I will move on to Ence's Arc. I don't know when, actually. I might take a break from Yumi. Maybe. I don't know. I actually don't know what I plan to do. I do have some things to say about Umineko episode 3 that I'm going to bring up right now. There we go. Shut up, shut up. Stupid ass dumb thing. Okay. Give me a second. The bells are ringing in my ears and it's not capturing it. And it's annoying me. Umineko. Right. Really quickly. Episode 4, Tea Party. That was where we were. We had just finished everything, right? And it was time to move to... Right, the second day did just start, like, moments ago. Everything happened on October 4th this time around. Instead of October 5th. Okay, October 6th? Okay. While this is there, I do want to bring up a few things which I realized, and I don't know if this leads anywhere, right? But I do want to add it to the chart. So, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about all of these. 6 were not killed by traps, 6 committed suicide, none of the 6 died an accidental death, right? We all died instantly and everything. But here's the thing, right? It was all about... Yeah, the 6 deaths were all homicide or something, but she couldn't repeat exactly that. And so there was a reason behind it. There was like a ambiguity in how they died. And I was constantly like wondering what the ambiguity would be, right? How could someone die of not an accidental death, not a suicide, but an homicide where there was no one in there? And I'm thinking, right? Here's a reason why it could be ambiguous. Here's a reason why you can't just say outright the 6 deaths were all homicides. Which is why she was trying to like go, oh, they didn't commit suicide, they didn't die an accidental death. Therefore, they must be dead by homicide, by someone else. But here's the thing, right? What if it was in self-defense? That went wrong, right? Like, if we imagine with magic, if we take the approach of magic, if they have the ability to just, like, turn the bullets around and hit the person after they fired, which I don't even think they died from a bullet, but if they do something like this, then their death would actually be possible. Give me a second. All the things gone wrong. So, they all died in a closed room, right? They all died in a weird room. I don't remember exactly how they looked when dead. Give me a second. Give me a second to save. Where is it? God, Ange died. I can't take it. I can't believe she died. That's fucked up. That really is fucked up. Give me a second to start. I want to check again. Episode 3 tips. Here we go. Hi. Okay, she can't die. Where is he? Him. Execute. Okay. He's assumed to be a gun or spear-shaped object. Okay. So our harpoon. For some reason they died of a harpoon. What about him? The evidence of the murder is gone with him. Like, entirely. There's no way to know what killed him. So, that's what I'm thinking, right? Imagine they all set up a room, like Kinzo sets up a room or something, and he's told, oh yeah, Kinzo, you set up a room to kill all your servants, you set up all that shit, right? At no point in time, I think it is also important to point out, at no point in time is it pointed out that any of them actually died inside of the rooms. Right? So like, what if, for example, Kinzo tells everyone, oh yeah! No, I mean, Kinzo wouldn't work because he would have to be in the incinerator. He was burned after his murder. Yeah, no evidence of the struggle was found. It wasn't shoved there by force. I think that's why they want to, like, point it out. Which means someone had to be in the room to push him in. I don't see how you could, like, return the bullet while you're inside the room. Right? That was the entire issue of back then. I also didn't show because I was looking at this. Right? Assuming he was burned after his murder. It was something... they did a diagram, right? Where it was something like this. And they were all locked and the keys were fucked up because it shouldn't work like this. So if someone sets up every room except for one, right? Except for one, and that person enters the room for some reason and tries to fight back against someone, but them fighting back fails, is there any discrepancy in the murders? Died in the stomach, 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 stomach. It looks like it. Yeah, this is like the one murder I can't figure out, right? I mean, there's also the George murder. Which makes no sense. I don't see how the fuck could George die in there? Of all places. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay. Let's go back to Yumi Shot 4. I love to do a lot of thinking between like the games. I might even replay all the episode 1 to 4 in between, right? To like present a theory, note everything down. Try to see if I can figure out anything. God, those eyes are fucking scary. No soul left in them. I think that's the reason why they're so upsetting. You look at any sprite, right? They all have like something inside their pupil. That little white thing. So when it's gone... Well, actually it wasn't gone, but it was completely black. You know, you get what I mean. You get what I mean. Victory lap. What do you mean, victory lap? So, like, all of these are wrong, right? Wait. Where is it? Where is... Battler is not Asumu's son. Okay, Angie's my little sister. But where is the one about the favor? Because I did save that one. Shirmiya Battler is not Shirmiya Asumu's son, yes. But they also said something. Oh, that wasn't red? Oh, that wasn't red. I thought that was said in red. That it was Rudolph's son. That wasn't said in red at any point. So like maybe she didn't want to say, like, I mean, no, she would want to say. She would want to say, yeah, she would want to reply in red. She would want to reply something in red to counter it. Because like her whole point at this point. No, really. She didn't have to counter it. You don't have to counter the red, the blue. If you're planning a loss, you don't have to count it. At this point in time, when she said this, right? When Beatrice said this, I gotta lower the size this bit big. When Beatrice said this, when Beatrice heard this, she was recovering from the loss of Maria, right? Maria fucked off with Sekitaro. In their own golden land. He could have refused to counter it with red simply because she wanted to get her game on. Right? There's no way to actually know. If you take the loss, you never have to clarify anything. At no point in time do you have to clarify things. So I was like, oh yeah, she said it in red, therefore my theory is over. That's what I said. I said it on Discord. I said it everywhere. I was like, oh my god, all my theories are wrong. Goodbye. But not really. Not really. It turns out. Okay. Okay, I like that I pointed that out. So, like, the episode 4 chart is so big. I think the episode 2 is much bigger. Let me look. Episode 2. No, episode 2 is about the same size, I think. Right? Between the 4 of them. No, actually, it's more long because I saved a lot of dialogue here. Like, for example, Kiri. And this thing. And there's also this that they've still not addressed. Which I already know what they're gonna address in Red Truth. There's a chance that it destroys my current theory, but... I believe it. I believe I'm right. Load. Been 16 days since I last streamed? Jeez. I don't have a clue what's going on. Please, someone explain in a way even I can understand. What happened yesterday? I was in the kitchen of the mansion, grabbing some food without permission. If you open up that massive business class refrigerator, you can find anything. You can eat and drink as much as you like. Even if the typhoon didn't clear up for a week, I would have been more than enough to eat. Wait. Wait! He didn't die by stake? Okay, we'll see about the others, but that wasn't death by stake. Those two weren't dead by stake. They said they're giving up on the ceremony, but like, entirely? Why did they kill everyone then? What was the point of killing everyone if you were cancelling the ceremony? I don't get it. I don't understand. You can eat and drink as much as you like. Even Typhoon didn't clear up for a week, I'd have more than enough to eat. With wine in one end, I was helping myself to some dry cured ham. I wondered just so expensive this wine and ham are. You ingredients are out of luck too. If only you'd had God sent to cook you, it would have been reborn as much more incredible food. Who's speaking? I looked at the clock. Very soon it'd be 24. October 5, the second day, would end. The insane October 4 yesterday seemed like a lie. That so much nothing had happened after that test thing. Yeah, to the food. They're sticking to the food. That's why I was recoiling for a second because the U was weird. Nothing happened. What do you mean? This battler? No one call came and no letters came. No person came and no one attacked me. Nothing happened at all. I want to start demanding a refund on all the time and energy that tension stole from me. Because after that, for an entire day, a full 24 hours, nothing happened. Insert joke here. Yeah, you already made it, Pulpo. So surely nothing's gonna happen now. I mean, they gotta finish the job. A full 24 hours ago, Beatrice called me to the spot in front of the mansion's entrance. There, I was given a strange test to determine the successor to the ship or whatever. I gave a serious answer in my own way, but it somehow hadn't meshed with the other side. Beatrice got pissed for no reason and fell silent. I still believe. I think... Okay, I think the reason why... Right? I wrote about that right here. The reason why she could have refused isn't simply because of the loss of Maria. Maybe revealing why, maybe countering that truth, that theory, would have meant giving away the sin that Butler committed, right? And maybe if she answered it, she would reveal the sin Butler committed. And she wants him to remember on his own. To the point of accepting to be shackled and continue playing. I think it's related to the sin. I really do think it's related to the sin. There's no other explanation as to why it would happen like this. I mean, no explanation I can figure out yet. I'll have to think more. When I asked where Maria was, she just told me to go to the chapel and left. To tell the truth, it was an anticlimax. No matter what kind of weird test you give, at least tell me whether I passed or failed. Are you trying to say thanks for coming, the results will be mailed to you later or something? Quit messing with me. Anyway, I then headed to the chapel. After failing the test, both George and Jessica were killed. I couldn't let Maria get killed too. Also, I might get a chance to catch some person trying to kill her. As a little kid, I often heard from Jessica that you'd get in trouble if you went near the chapel. So I'd never been there, but I at least knew where it was. I couldn't find any trace of a person there. But there was a key bundle lying in front of the door. I thought this might be someone telling me to open the door, but after trying all the keys, I found that none of them fit. I also called Maria's name, but there was no answer whatsoever. I searched around the chapel, but there was a limit to what I could do in the pitch black with just a flashlight. I realized that this key bundle might be a set of master keys, which could make it possible to open the door to the mansion. I found no sign of Maria, so I returned to the mansion. The mansion was wrapped in silence. and in a horrible stench. However, it's amazing how good humans are at adapting. The inside of the mansion must still be wrapped up in that smell. However, I grew completely used to it and stopped minding it. It didn't seem any worse than in the old house where someone had burned some meat. At first, I was bewildered by the stench, but I decided to enter the dining hall for the time being. I do want to say, and found the corpses that were so pitiful. Goda and the rest had hesitated to speak of them in detail. Right. I was asked what I think will happen at the end of the question, at the end of the episode 4, and how it will lead into the answer arcs. And I think my current idea, which is probably wrong, is Battler is going to play with Beatrice for decades. We're gonna jump forward in time to a much more competent Battler, right? To a Battler who is much more able to, I don't know, act, reason, comprehend. And that way we can like progress the intrigue forward. Was the remains of Aunt Natsui and the others become the first victims. Half of each head had been completely split open. It was so gruesome that even without knowing a thing about examining corpses, say that they were 100% dead. And on top of that, the remaining halves of her face were left like normal, so it was even easy to identify them. Really convenient corpses these were. And in addition to the 6 bodies, was one more. Oh, the 7th corpse was Maria. Okay, let's read all this. We'll keep Maria for last. A corpse was found in the dining hall. Probably reasonable to assume she was murdered with a powerful gun. However, the witnesses don't believe she was killed with a gun. Do they all say this? They all say this. Yeah, it's all the same dialogue here. Okay. Better anti-magic training arc. Yeah, we're gonna get a training montage. Like, ironically, we're gonna get a training montage. Corpse was found in dining hall. Battler was unable to make out any wounds in particular, so he assumed that she was killed by some kind of poison. Oh. The most peaceful form of invitation to the Golden Land. What poison could kill you in like a few hours without making you like spit blood or some shit? I can't think of any poison I know that kills you in like fucking 3 hours and doesn't make you cough your lungs out. Cyanide. Cyanide makes you foam at the mouth. You would notice. If you died by cyanide, like there's a lot of poisons which leaves external signs. Some sort of paralytic. Yeah, probably. I mean, the lethal injection does that. The lethal injection, like, literally is the worst thing ever, by the way. If you don't know. But you probably do. I'm laughing, but holy shit. It's insane how fucked up it is. Okay, let's continue. I'm not a toxicologist, I gotta keep my game up as a chemist. Yeah, you do. But yeah, no, the lethal injection does kill in 3 hours. And doesn't keep... leave trace. I mean, no! I mean... never mind. I just don't know enough. But this does mean, okay, this does confirm the existence of poison. If it is indeed a poison death, this does confirm that poison can be used. And thus, I believe this is what happened in episode 1, right? And I think episode 2? The way that, like, all 6 were killed during the night and then arranged around the place. The privilege of not dying with a fucking shotgun to the face. Wait, so why is she dead? Didn't she become the successor? Did Butler succeed? I cried at the death of an innocent young girl. Innocent? No. No. In a cruel way, my dad and the rest had died. I raced through the mansion, swinging the hat-stand spear, yelling, "Come out here, bastard!" But I couldn't find any trace of anyone else. Thinking they might be planning to hide somewhere and attack me from behind, I went around searching for hiding places, sometimes growing more cautious, sometimes intentionally letting my guard down in various ways. But in the end, not even a kitten appeared. Maybe a feral dog? There's like 50 on the island. Then, morning came. My tension and fatigue combined with my drowsiness, making for the worst kind of dawn. Humans are pretty incredible. Even when a murderer might be hiding somewhere, prioritize drowsiness and fatigue over our own lives. But at that time, I was starting to feel pretty ridiculous. After all, for a full 6 hours before dawn, I'd walked around the mansion, yelling at the culprits to show themselves. My search had been a careful one, and I tired myself out and let my guard down. Even so, no one came to attack me. Basically, I lost patience with them and figured they could do whatever the hell they wanted. The boat won't come until the typhoon passes. They said on TV that it won't pass until tomorrow, so I've got another full day today. Lazing about lost its interest. And even though I knew it would probably make the police mad, I decided to play detective for a bit. Yes! Oh my god, yes! Finally! The first fucking episode where they do that. First was dining hall. Was the very first murder that occurred. This is interesting too because we can find out if they did get teleported or if there was like trapdoors or some shit. They had been very pitiful. The weapon used was probably a gun. Maybe their heads were split by something powerful, like a magnum bullet or a shotgun. It was a reasonable theory to hold. Compared to that, the seventh corpse, Maria, had died in a much better and cleaner way. At a glance, I could see no external wound and didn't understand how she'd been killed. Oh, but by her mouth were traces of bubble that she might have spat out. Never mind, never mind. It looked like a typical death by poisoning that you might see in a TV drama. Right, okay, never mind. I just needed to read further. Wasn't Maria called out to the chapel and given a test? So why was she in the corpse-filled dining hall, lying next to her mother, dead? Even if the cause of death was poison, who gave it to her? Her clothes weren't disturbed at all. It's hard to imagine that she was forcefully pushed down and given an injection of poison. Probably better to assume that she was given a capsule of poison or something, and made to swallow it. But compared to the scattered and violently mutilated corpses in this room, Maria's corpse was too clean. If they had a gun, they only needed to pull the trigger. But poisoning, whether by having her drink it or by an injection, would take a lot more effort. Considering the culprit's brutal nature, you'd think Maria's death alone was given special treatment. Why was only Maria given a sleep-like death? Aye, Triviki. It's a figuring shit out hour. I still don't know what episode 5 and onwards will look like. Right? My theory, I already said, like, jump forward in time, but like, it would be weird if episode 5 was like only centered on episode 1, right? Like, I doubt episode 5 is gonna be about solving every mystery of episode 1, especially considering I'm aware of how many words there are. 140,000 words or some shit for episode 5. I don't think you can get that much out of episode 1. I don't think it's possible. True, being killed is always a pitiful thing. But for some reason, Maria's death alone seemed very cautious to me. Both of Maria's hands were joined on her chest, as though the dead person had put them there herself. Did Maria do that herself before dying? Isn't this usually something done by someone else after the person dies? As though sleeping with her mother, whose head was half crushed, Maria dozed in peace. For some reason, that contrast really bugged me. Including the direct cause, it's probably safe to say that Maria's death is shrouded in mystery. And more than anything else, The biggest mystery of this dining hall was the pitfalls. And pitfalls that both Uncle Cross's group and Goda-san's had mentioned. After the first 6 were killed, 5 more fell through pitfalls and were captured. What are pitfalls? Those things that suddenly open and you fall through them, right? The room had a solid floor with a carpet that looked dignified, if a bit worn out. No matter how you looked at it, it was single piece. If a pitfall had opened up, there would have to be a seam just in that place. And if there had been some trick like a pitfall, wouldn't it creak when you walked on it? No matter how much I walked around feeling the carpet, I just couldn't imagine that a pitfall was hidden there. Yeah, I think that's like the biggest mystery in this episode, right? I mean, you could also talk about like the weapon used to kill them and why they saw. But if I remember correctly, and I remember, I mean, if I read this shit, where is... Right, we do have an hour and 30 minutes window. I thought we only had like 10 minutes. But no. If we assume that all this bullshit and then the teleporting happened at 22:30, then yeah. Yeah, the massacre does happen, and then it's impossible. In 10 minutes, it is not possible to teleport everyone. I mean, it's possible to teleport, but it's not possible to, like, do it physically. But we do have an hour and 30 minutes in between the two. I love her. So cool. No matter how much I walked around, feeling the carpet, I just couldn't imagine that a pitfall was hidden here. Anyway, it would be one thing if a single person fell, but a full 5 people did. I gotta complain. The amount of people that reacted with burger and sent me burger pics after I saw Ange die. I fucking ate all of you. Every single one of you. I can't believe you would pull this off. I got spammed shit like, where is it? Like this. And it's pissing me off. Why would you send me this shit? Why would you send me this? You know. I fucking ate every single one of you. Why would you send me this? Okay, but that one is funny though. That one is pretty funny. There's also a couple that Polopo sent to me in DMs. Wait, where is it? It's right here. Give me a second. What are you doing? Right here. This one's pretty good. This one's pretty good. Oh, you know where, Micro? Oh, yeah, you don't want to know. Oh, the or. You don't want to know. Okay, dipshit 289. Listen, I gotta do my part. Anyways. By putting together everyone's stories, each one of them had fallen from a different location. So at the very least, there had to be 5 pitfalls. So what does this mean? Was this room actually made with pitfalls across the entire floor? What if there was a third manor? Right next to the second secret one? That is accessible within 2 minutes? And like, he swapped the places around without anyone noticing, right? They didn't notice that they were changed manners because it was like a one-to-one replica. So that way, when they knocked him out with a gas, like paralyzing gas or some shit, they could transport them, and then they tore down the third manor just to be sure that no one finds it. What about that? Have we considered this? I don't think we did. I don't think we did. That kind of ridiculous mechanism would be surprising even in a ninja mansion. Manorception. Loot truth, valid. It's funny. But if Dad and the rest had heard about this, I wonder if I would say I wouldn't put it past Grandfather to do it, to make it. At any rate, I didn't learn anything more from the dining hall. Do the pitfalls not exist? Or do they exist, but I just can't find them, immature that I am? I can't say for sure. Since they claim that the pitfalls were there, I can't ignore them, even if I can't find them. The hallucination thing, it's so easy to say hallucination, but it makes no sense. In what way, in the physical world, would you have to induce such hallucinations? If there's no way that, like, rabbit girls are real, which I wish they were. I really wish they were. But also, I did point out, like, the weird part of all this shit. Right, with, where is she? Right here. Kiri, on the phone, constantly talking about, oh, she's being shot at multiple times. And then, the moment she dies, is the only time we hear a gunshot. Throughout the rest of the call, throughout the entire call, there has been no gunshot heard, besides the very last one. And I think that was like a message from Kiri, right? It feels a lot like there's multiple places in the entire Kiri dialogue. There's multiple places where she just insists on something to, like, make Battler understand that this is, like, all bullshit and she's forced to say it. Right? I've been attacked 3 times. What do you mean? No, you didn't. At the very end. Right? I felt as though I heard an incredible sound at the other end of the receiver. Unless every bullet was suppressed by, like, magic. And then the very last one is not suppressed. I don't know. It's so weird that Kiri, of all people, would say, oh, if you do that for me, our deaths won't be wasted. But, like, what's the waste? What is the waste? What would Battler gain out of this? As far as you know, Battler could die like 3 seconds away. No one confirmed it. So what is the waste? I don't know, everything about this call is weird. Everything here is weird. Incomprehensible even. Okay. I can't say for sure. Since they claim that the pitfalls were there, I can't ignore them, even if I can't find them. The next ones to be killed were Jessica and George. I discovered George when I'd been called out for my test. He had been called out to the arbor in the rose garden, and probably shot in the forehead with a gun. The transition from normal sprite to PS3 is always amazing. Jessica had been called to her own room on the 2nd floor, as I mentioned. The door to her room was locked, but that wasn't a problem at all since I had a master key. Yeah, obviously she would be in a locked room. Inside the room it was horrible. But after the dining hall, I was used to corpses. So I built up a bit of an immunity. I want to save this. For one thing only. Look at the top right. Look at the top right. That top right, like blood mark, I think is pretty important. I'm gonna lower the size to like 30. No, 30 is too small. 40 it is. Locked room. The blood. And locked room. There we go. The phone receiver was loose and dangling. Had she been killed while still on the phone with me? Oh wait, are the CGs not canon? I forgot about that part. Are the CGs not canon? I think that's really important to know. Because like right now, this guy was leaning against the wall right next to it. With half of her head split open. So this makes no sense. I'd be careful about taking them as clues. Okay. No, in OG game, don't take as clue. Wait, no, CG. Here we go. I had to specify that it was a CG. Okay. Where are you? Right here. A corpse was found in a room on the second floor was mentioned. About half of her head was destroyed. Yeah, they didn't even gouge her. None of them were gouged so far. They were smashed by her own attack due to George's counter-offensive specialist barrier. Which still makes no sense, because if this was true, I mean, they did say they recovered the corpses, but this guy should have died from a punch to the face. By Knuckles. By the, like, American Knuckles or something. I forgot the name. We call them American Fist in French, right? Those things with the rings on it. It looked as though she was killed while on the phone. That case, had the culprit been right there before her eyes? I hadn't gotten that impression when listening to Jessica's voice over the phone. But should Jessica said, they got me. It's probably best to assume that she'd already received a fatal wound at the time of the phone call. That's right, and she also said this. She did say that. Yeah, that's what she said. Thank you for replying. From what I could tell by looking at Jessica's corpse, there were no wounds on her other than damage to the head. But she had had an injury serious enough to make her prepared for death, and then died halfway through the phone call. But the way she'd talk on the phone made me think that she'd escaped harm for the time being. You shouldn't be able to have a casual conversation over a phone if the culprit's right before your eyes. So, did the culprit come in partway through the phone call and kill Jessica? No, that can't be right. After all, this room was locked. Wait, that doesn't tell me anything. If the culprit stole a master key from one of the victims, locking his door would be meaningless. Yeah, it is. All the keys, like, if they killed like 3 servants. No, wait, no, they killed 1 servant. They killed Genji. So they would have a master key, but only 1. But she had no external wounds other than her head. In that case, should I assume that the fatal wound she was prepared to die from and the actual external wound that had damaged her head were 2 different things? Why do you assume an external wound? If she had a gun pointed at her head, right? That's not a wound. But if I got a gun pointed to my head, like, right next to me, I would also say that I'm about to die and in a few seconds, my head's gonna be half split open. I would also say that both of them were made to the same part of the body. In other words, Jessica was struck severely to the head and received an incredibly bad wound. Then she called me, either lost consciousness or died while on the phone. Then the culprit came and damaged her head again. Something like that. After being called to this room, Jessica was attacked by the culprit, received a serious injury. Then the culprit thought she'd been killed and went away for the time being. But Jessica miraculously started breathing again and called me with what would become her dying message. Then the culprit realized that they failed to kill her and rushed back to deliver the final blow. But Jessica fell unconscious from massive blood loss. No, it doesn't add up. If that was the case, she would not know that her head would be like half split open. She would not notice. She would be like, oh, they damaged my head. I am about to die from blood loss. Goodbye, Battler. She would not say, my head is about to be blown open. Goodbye, Battler. That's what she did, right? Yeah, exactly. Except for Jessica was able to accurately predict the nature of that final blow. There was one more thing that bugged me about the phone call from Jessica. Jessica said this. George Deason's down for too. That was an instant death. Right! Right. Oh, did she know? Well, while you certainly could see the rose garden through the window in Jessica's room, and you could even see the roof of the arbor where George had been summoned, was very far away. That's still significant. That is still significant. Add on the fact it was the night of the typhoon, and it's very odd to imagine that she was able to witness everything that had happened by the arbor from this window. And more than anything else, Jessica left before George, so she shouldn't have known that George's test took place by the arbor. Why did Jessica know that George had been killed? I don't know, it doesn't seem that weird. Walkie-talkies. There were definitely multiple people, like, working together doing this on the island. So what if simply they have a walkie-talkie? They own like a bunch of walkie-talkies or small radios, like short distance radio. And they could communicate, like one of them goes, oh yeah, George failed his test. And then like the guy in the room with Jessica goes, oh, did you hear this? George fucked up. he's dead. Jessica's like, no! And then he points a gun to her head and say, go ahead and leave a message to Butler. During my search of the intervention, I found Kiri-san's corpse as well. Corpse was found in the guest room deep within the mansion. There was a single hole right in the center of her forehead. Probably reasonable to assume she was shot with a gun or something similar. Which also doesn't make sense, right? How can the bullet wound be so clean? How can the bullet wound be so clean when the 6 were killed by the same attack? They were killed by the same attack as her, right? Yet their head was split open. So why is her head not split open from this? The demon stake was buried in the hole in her forehead. It's sad to imagine that this was the cause of death. I didn't miss. I missed on purpose to tease her. Yeah. She's so cool. She's so cool. No, 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 no. Yes. She's so cool. I'm so glad that she's not a kid. That would have sucked. Was in one of the old guest rooms at the back of the first floor. In the past, before the construction of the guest house, the relatives had spent the night in these. Right, and the door right there is the cupboard. I thought that was the exit door, but that's the cupboard. Kiri-san's situation matched Jessica perfectly. Probably been killed during her phone call with me. The receiver was hanging untidily, and Kiri lay crumpled in the corner. But the way she had been killed was very different from Jessica. Her head wasn't smashed. Instead, a stake with an occult design was buried into her forehead. It was so gruesome, so I pulled it out. Why would you do this? After pulling it, I realized this might get me into trouble with the police later. So a little too late, I set it down by Kiri. Its tip was sharp and stained with enough blood that it must have penetrated fully to the brain. I didn't know what kind of metal it was made of, but it was about as heavy as a paperweight. Certainly, if you were stabbed all out with something like this, it might cause a terrible wound. I probably knew what the stake meant. It's one of those. The style of killing from the 4th Twilight onward in the Witch's Epitaph. It's probably that gouge with a stake and kill thing. Or a very human skull is very firm. No matter how much someone must have a strength. Could it really have been pierced so neatly? No. Wait. So why doesn't this apply to like every other fucking episode? I was like, oh, there's a stake holding gun, right? There's a stake gun that shoots stakes. Right? But it could just be as simple as a gun that shoots normal bullets. And then the murderer comes in and stabs them with a pick to the head. Right? What about that? What about them apples, as they say? Let me add it. Let me add it right here. Locked guest room. She got shot in the end, then stake pierced into her. And I'm gonna write in bigger text. What if the stake gun was just a normal gun, and then the murderer comes in and stabs the wound with a stake? Especially since stakes are lightweight. Right? This would explain how Natsui died. This would explain how Natsui died. Because Natsui died in episode 1. To be clear. Natsui died in episode 1 by a bullet to the head. And I was like, what? Where could we get bullets? They had a stake gun. But if you assume that they were shot at and then the stake was like put in, I mean, but shooting would make so much sound. Shooting would make so much sound. You would hear the gunshot. You would hear it. You would hear gunshot. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know how it switches to English every time. Oh, it's tab. It's tab, that's the button, okay. By my reasoning, the stake wasn't the cause of death, but I'd just been used to damage to corpse after death. He was probably killed with a gun or something, like George. The stake had been stuck into the hole left by the gun. Thinking of it that way made it easier to accept. Yeah, you would have heard the gunshots though. Was Kiri really killed with a gun? As she said on the phone, even though she was holed up inside the locked room, Kiri was being attacked. In fact, this room had been locked. Also, she mentioned a golden thread or something flying in and attacking her. In fact, there were 4 places around Kiri's corpse with holes that could have been caused by some kind of attack. But a golden thread attacked her. Okay. Here's the keyhole. Yeah, this doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean anything for like one simple reason. You could just make the holes after she died. That's it. That's the issue. If you assume she was killed first, then the murderer just like shoots around her to make it believe like it's a golden thread. There's no way my goat would miss. There's no way the Chista sisters, especially 410, would miss. I don't believe that. So they're not real. I looked at the door from Kiri's perspective. If it had been one of those old keyholes you see in old mystery movies, where you can pick through to the other side, it would have been clearly possible to stick something through it. I think the real question is, where's the chain? Battler did not mention a bolt cutter at any time through this. That was a very important plot point. Where the door chain? If those doors in this mansion were old-fashioned, the locks was the familiar, average cylinder style that you could find in any normal house. In other words, they weren't constructed in a way that would let you penetrate through them. So no matter how thin an object you might try to stick through the keyhole, it's unthinkable that something penetrated from the outside and attacked. A cylinder lock and a keyhole? That's good in general. I'm gonna put that in like the top left. I don't even know where I could put this. I'm just gonna put it in the same place. Cylinder locks. And a keyhole. But despite that, Kiri definitely said that something like a golden thread had flown in through the keyhole. spun around while aiming for her and attacked her. A golden thread attacking through the keyhole. Couldn't understand what it meant at all. But even so, Kiri probably predicted that I wouldn't be able to understand all this. And it wasn't just Kiri. She discussed it over the phone too. No! Since the very beginning. From the time we talked with Goda and Kumisawa and got the phone call from Uncle across his group. What a milestone. It is! It really is a milestone! It really is! That's... how many hours? How many hours did I play? I mean the 30% of people who actually reach that point. 130 hours. 130 hours. Jesus. Normally this is done in like 50 hours, by the way. For episode 1 to 4. But I guess I am in the minority here. Because I am reading all of this really slowly. And adding onto my chart and discussing theories, so. Everyone has said the same consistent thing. Grandfather summoned witches and demons and is killing people with magic. They'd been shown that right before their eyes. Those weren't trick or fates. There was no choice but to believe it. With one voice, they at all said that. Don't you find it weird, Battler? When the mystery woman calling herself Beatrice appeared, even I had pretty much believed that she was a real witch and might start summoning gut monsters right and left. Or even, after being left alone for a whole day, my feeling of tension had faded completely. I was not able to think that something so stupid definitely couldn't be true. Did they lose their heads a little in an extraordinary situation where their lives were exposed to danger? And mistakenly think that a witch was attacking them with magic? Wait... I remember something. Okay. Let me check something. Never mind, we can't see it. I wanted to see the epitaph. Multiple people gave the same kind of testimony, and on top of that, none of their opinions conflicted each other. If it had just been a single statement, and be able to suspect that they just didn't see what they thought they saw, doing that now is pretty difficult. Not really. I mean, yes it is, never mind. Because Goda, I was like, oh, all of them had a gun to their head. Goda didn't have a gun to his head. Goda was safe. Or Goda had been told, if you say to the kids this, then... you know, we won't kill them. Right next to the back door, I found Uncle Cross with his head half smashed. His corpse was found in the guest room deep within the mansion. Right next to the back door, okay. Until he'd escaped from the dungeon of Kudorian, and someone made it this far by a secret underground passage. He had been killed. Buried into the gruesome cross-section of his half-crushed forehead was a stake with an occult design, like the one that had been buried into Gary-san's forehead. And in this situation, it was very odd to imagine that the stake was a weapon used. He had been killed with a powerful gun like the 6 in the dining hall. And after death, he jabbed with a stake like Kiri. Yeah, that's why they locked him in a room. And made him suicide? I still don't see. They still haven't, like, updated their portrait. They were locked in a room and forced to kill themselves, but how? I'm wondering if the golden thread that Kiri spoke of attacked Uncle Cross too. If there exists some kind of tool, like an endoscope, that's very thin but can be moved about at will, and that can also attack people. Think out of the box, Battler, please. No way, I've never heard of anything like that. But even so, if this fact had been revealed to one of the relatives, maybe they'd say, I wouldn't put it past grandfather to make it. Since I can't deny the existence of a golden thread X that can be moved at will and attack people. I can either accept that this mysterious weapon exists, or else I'll have to accept that it was a murder committed with magic. No! To find the next corpse, I had to go through the back door and search around outside a bit. Behind the mansion, in the wild-grown bushes that were almost swallowed up by the forest, there was something like an old well. And right next to it were Dr. Angelo and Shannon's corpse. Head crushed too, I assume. About half of her head was destroyed. Probably reasonable to assume she was murdered with a powerful gun. Demon stake had fallen near the body. Oops. The mic fell off the stand. Give me a second. Its ghost was found behind the mansion. About half of his head was destroyed. Probably reasonable to assume he was murdered with a powerful gun. Both corpses had their heads smashed. And though they weren't snuck in, there were stakes laying right next to each damaged head. Each corpse was atrocious, but having to look directly at Shannon's lovely face, which had been half blown away, was very painful. Then there was the well. I heard that inside it was a secret underground passage to the mysterious mansion, Dorian. By this time, I began to think that Beatrice and her accomplices might have used this underground passage and left for Dorian. Even though there had apparently been at least 10 of them, I hadn't seen a trace of anyone. It seemed very likely that they already escaped to a different location. There's the typhoon. They can't go out to sea. It goes the same for the forest. There's no way we could traverse such a deep, uncultivated forest on foot. In that case, we had only one place to go. The mysterious little mansion, Dorian. Through the secret underground passage, at the bottom of the well. By this time, I had entirely lost my fear of being killed if I happened to come across the enemy. Don't fuck with me! This time I'll storm into your mansion! What the hell? Damn it! The old well had a thin cover on it. The cover was an iron grill. The gaps between the bars were perhaps 20 centimeters across. You could peer inside, but it really wasn't something a human could pass through. If I hadn't known better, I wouldn't have thought it anything more than a simple cover to prevent falls. But from what Kiri had told me, I knew that its purpose was to prevent intruders from entering the secret underground passage in its depth. But the cover was extremely firm and rigid, and no matter how much I pushed or pulled, I couldn't even get close to opening it. I couldn't find any obvious lock. It might be sealed by some mechanism, but no matter how much I investigated it, I couldn't find anything to release it. The biggest piece of information Kiri had tried to give me, gambling in final moments, was the underground passage in this well. Don't think I'll be stopped by something like this cover. I'll smash it to bits. I'll search for a tool. I had an idea. After all, I'd seen the various tools in the gardening shed when you locked Goda and Kurosawa there. But the shutter to the gardening shed was locked. On top of that, the key was with Goda, who was dead on the inside. In other words, this gardening shed was a closed room. There's no way to open it from the outside. In that case, I've got to break the shutter. There has to be a tool for that somewhere. Kinda feels like I'm going in circles here. Then, while searching for that, I learned that the source of the stench that permeated the mansion this whole time was the underground boiler room. The boiler room was dimly lit, humid, smelled horrible, and on top of all that, was incredibly creepy. Girl is so relatable. True. Poor man. There were several large tools here, and I managed to find a fire hatchet, some massive wire cutters, and grandfather's corpse. Horrific vision again. Why? In episode 1, he dies to a fire. Episode 2, he dies to nothing. To the goats. And 3 and 4, he dies to a fire. Why? No. Strictly speaking, I probably shouldn't say that I found a burned corpse of a person who was probably grandfather. Someone's corpse had been stuffed. Wow. What's wow about this, Trev? Someone's corpse had been stuffed into the blazing fires of the boiler. However, by coincidence, I was able to notice the number of toes on the corpse. Both feet at 6 toes. That's right. I think I heard it from Dad long ago. Wow, the butts. They always do. It's like every streamer. Every streamer with like lower than like 10 viewers get the bots. Because the bots are like, oh, you wanna have some viewers? You're at low viewer count, you want some. I don't understand it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't understand it. If I had like 50 viewers, but I knew that only like 5 of them were real, that would be so demotivating. That would suck. Like, wow. Look. That's right. I think I heard it from Dad sometime long ago. Something about grandfather having polydactyly with extra toes. According to older Shermia family tradition, it seems that those with extra fingers or toes, some kind of good fortune, were treated as the good omen. And because of that, grandfather was selected to be the successor or something. But I wonder if I can be certain this is grandfather's body just from the number of toes. After all, grandfather was supposed to be the leader of the group of culprits. I didn't have a clue why he'd get stuffed into a boiler in a place like this and die. Because Beatrice is the leader, stupid. A mysterious corpse, burning and spitting out a terrible stench amid the flames. If it really was grandfather, did that mean that the leader of the group of culprits wasn't grandfather? And that Beatrice, after all? Grandfather was used because he was convenient, and was then thrown away? Unfortunately, it didn't look like he had been given a chance to hear grandfather's side of the story. Now that I had obtained the tool, I thought about rushing to take on the cover to the well, but I decided to break the shutter to the guarding shed first. I had plenty of time to kill anyway. Figured I should check on the condition of Goda and Kumasawa's corpse. So wait. He stayed like 24 hours into the kitchen eating food, and only when it turns midnight, he decided, oh, fuck it, it's time to go. For 24 hours, he was like eating food like a fat ass. And then decided, okay, now it's time to go. I hit the shutter with the hatchet, breaking into it. Tugged the wire cutter into the crack, and scissored it around, opening up a hole. Right. Then I faced Goda and Kumasawa's corpse once more. Kumasawa is looking at us, I don't like that. I don't like that. At all. Put ropes around our own necks. What? Huh? As a result, I learned a new fact. They had not died by being hung by the neck. Both of their feet were solidly on the floor, and on both of their foreheads were signs of having been shot with a gun. The loop seemed longer than the normal noose. On top of that, the length was different on each to match the height of each person. In other words, the lengths had been adjusted so that both Goda, who was tall, and Kumasawa, who was short, had their feet solidly but barely on the ground. Also, while the ropes carried both of their weights as their heads lolled, both of them had some slack below their knees. Yeah, thank you. Very nice. In other words, these loops wouldn't have been that great for hanging people. The direct cause of death was probably a shot to the head. I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be countered by a red truth, like instantly. There's someone hiding in there. They waited for like, they did tell them to like shove them someplace. There was a accomplice waiting inside with a gun. They killed them, set up the room, took the key, left, closed the door, then threw the key back in. One way or another. They already managed to throw the key in the first place. Like, it's not unreasonable to assume they could do it again. It was gruesome. Their insides were still dripping out from those gaping holes, staining their faces deep red. Probably best to assume that they were then hung, pulled up, and left exposed like that. If they'd been shot with a gun, they would probably have been lying down on the floor. If that had been the case, you wouldn't have been able to tell they were dead even if you peeked through the window. The mountain of stuff would have gotten in the way, so if they'd been lying down, they would have been hidden. To make the deaths of these two known to the rest of us who couldn't go inside, they would have had to hang them like this, making it visible from the outside. And it doubles as, like, very convenient. Because then you could assume, like, if it's visible from the outside, you could, like, set up a string from which you make the key slide or something. That was already a theory that Butler explained at the end of episode 3. No, the beginning of episode 3. Was this done to get back at us for thinking that those two would surely be safe if we left the key with them? I wonder where the sure the key we gave Goda, which should have ensured his safety, is now. His key was in the pocket of his trousers. The gallon key had been kindly left here, and even the plate was attached. What do you mean, the plate? What's the plate? In other words, the gardening shed had been a closed room after all. And that gave rise to another question. Because this can't be explained by hanging. If they didn't commit suicide, then those nooses were set up by the culprit. It might have been possible to shoot them through the window, but it's really unthinkable that someone could have tied 2 loops to the beam from the outside. And furthermore, there's no way they could lift up the heavy corpses. That's kind of rude. You can't say that about Kumasawa. In other words, to do all of this, we would have had to go inside. But the key was in Goda-san's pocket, and the shutter had been locked. In other words, the gardening shed had been a closed room. But I said there was only one key to the shutter. But is it possible that there was a copy? And that the culprit was in possession of it? If you're allowed to theorize that there actually was a duplicate of the gardening Soa's key, that Goda just didn't know about it, then this isn't even close to a closed room. Well, why did it? Despite the fact that almost all of the other corpses were shot to death and left completely alone, just these 2 corpses were intentionally hoisted up. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? Let me make a section for it. Right here. Here we go. Fucking up the zoom. Okay, resize that. G plus. Oh my god, that was the worst thing I ever said. I said it the French way, but somehow tried to make it sound English, which gave plus. That is awful. I can't believe I said that. I'm gonna write it. Someone hid inside, killed them. That's supposed to be blue. Killed them, took the key, left. Locked the door. Because they were hoisted up, it was easy to set up a string or something to slide the key back in his pocket. Here we go. I couldn't help but feel something a bit odd about that. Yeah, same. After this, if you assume that the mystery corpse in the boiler was grandfather's, the deaths of 16 people have been confirmed. There were 18 people on this island. I'm here, and there are 16 corpses. Cannon is the only one I haven't been able to confirm. According to Kiri, he had been killed while climbing out of the well and had fallen down into it. But with the well closed up like this, it's impossible to check. Tried shining a flashlight through the bars down into the darkness in the depths of the well. But it seemed that the jet black darkness had no intention of showing me its depths with a light of that level. It looked like I'd have to break the bars after all. Within the hatchets and things that dragged from the boiler room. Oh, I was wondering what the fuck that music was, but never mind. I tried breaking the cover of the well. But the metal bars were extraordinarily sturdy, and breaking them wasn't easy. I hit them with the hatchet over and over, until my hands started feeling weird, and eventually gave up on breaking them. You have bolt cutters. It's impossible. If they were at least wood, I might have been able to break them. But this metal. That's right. There's no way you can slice through metal bars like butter with a human strength. I don't even begin to understand that story about how cannon cut through metal bars. I've heard that a light like a red laser beam grew out of his arm. And that he sliced through the metal bars like he was cutting through butter. Cutting through metal bars like butter. And what's with the red laser beam? Does that mean he secretly had a burner on him or something? And used that to burn through the bars? Still, just one kind of laser could cut through metal bars like butter. It almost sounds like the kind of laser beam you'd find in those robot anime I loved as a kid, doesn't it? Does something like that actually exist? And how did Cannon get that laser beam? No matter how much I want to ask him, he's already been killed. Plus, even his corpse is now in the depths as well, beyond this cover. If Cannon could slice through metal bars, I'm sure he could handle this metal cover in a single swing. It feels just like the closed room god I was locked in while holding the key. Only one person can open the door, but they're locked inside. If only I had the power of Cannon, I'd be able to do something about this cover myself. Just who is Cannon? It couldn't really be a non-human being capable of using a strange power, right? Carrie told me to believe in witches, and even I met an insane woman calling herself one. Could Cannon possibly be a human on the witch's side? Or else the culprit? What the heck? Am I gonna start treating him like the culprit just because I can't find his corpse? Yeah, that's fucked up. You're evil. Oh, treating him like the culprit because there's no corpse. And who was the one babbling about the suspicious being innocent? But, well, I couldn't bear having you push all the crimes in Cannon and building a human culprit theory that way. I will guarantee it with the red. Cannon is dead. Okay. We're gonna need more room. I'm gonna keep the upper right corner for like funny things. Okay, 80. In short, it was a ninth victim. That is pretty big. That is actually pretty big. Because here was like, oh, I think the 13th. Yeah, wait. Give me a second. Right here. Where is it? I thought that perhaps the second twilight had been finished in the ceremony of killing 13 people before twice had been freed. In short, when I died, it's Princeton. Oh no, so it does work. It does work. Right, because 6 died and 2. No, there's one missing. There's one missing, right? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Then 7, 8. Oh, and then 9. Never mind. But no, he's not able to find his corpse. No matter how he's skilled with magic, without a corpse, he's definitely suspect. That's definitely anti-fantasy. Therefore, guarantees death with the red truth. Definitely anti-mystery. Yeah, no, 9th victim works. Never mind. There's no corpse, I can say for sure. The canon is dead. So my whispering in red does not reach the PCU. But it did reach you, right? At a glance, this was a mass murder due to something strange that could only be thought of as magic. Golden threads that attack through keyholes. No, we even have testimony that something gold flew around the dining hall when the first 6 died. The 2 might have been the same weapon. Then there was a closer murder of the gallon shed, and a laser beam that could cut metal bars. Right, I do have to note that down. There's a lot of things I have to explain. And I'm probably gonna do like a shot at the end, right? To somewhat figure out everything I haven't solved yet. Because there's a lot I haven't done in episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. I read that again. Oh my god. Fuck you, Butler. The my issue really is I've figured out a theory for a lot of things. There's only like the 6th murder of episode 1, right? Of episode 3, along with the George murder. Right here, there is the way that Kevin is dead, and then the grill is locked back up somehow. The way they were teleported to, and the date 07/15/11/29, which I can't find on the screen. But yeah, there's let's keep going. I think episode 2, there's a lot of episode 2. I still need to reread episode 2. Episode 2 pisses me off! It's so hard to figure out episode 2. Whole fucking episodes, it's insane. Ah! And that wasn't all. There was much, much more, like the group of goat monsters. The story of a witch would create pitfalls just by snapping her fingers. Furniture, not witch. She's a demon. Get it right, please. The rabbit-like demons who had fired golden threads. I think there was more. They're not demons, they're furniture! You're getting it wrong, Battler. But each part was all screwed up. Couldn't possibly accept it. Was forced to suspect that it was some kind of trick or mistake. But why in the world had everyone spoken with one voice, saying the same thing without contradictions in their testimony? It's not only the magic. There's Maria's mysterious death. Why Jessica knew that George had been killed. The mysterious burned corpse that I couldn't confirm really belonged to that damn geezer. I'm gonna come back here later. And more and more. All stuff I don't get. I tilted the wine bottle up and gulped. I don't have a clue what's going on. After dinner last night, the kids were chased out and told to go back to the guest house. And then there was a massacre in the dining hall. Kiri and the rest were dropped through pitfalls and captured. Then Jessica and George were called out to take a test or whatever, and killed. And even though Kiri's group was able to escape the dungeon somehow, all of them got killed in the end. And at the very, very end, even Maria was killed, leaving me all alone. In short, I did nothing except stay locked up in the guest house. During that time, a huge incident occurred and ended. What can I call it except incomprehensible? I don't have a clue anymore. Nah, I'm nothing but a drunk. You plan on leaving only me alive? Kill yourself right away and come to kill me already. It's too much of a pain, so I won't search for you. You show me your true form yourself. I won't run or hide, so come at me with arrows or bullets or whatever. I haven't gotten any sleep since yesterday, so I'm incredibly sleepy. You wanna kill me? Go ahead. I decided to return to the guest house and boldly rest in a bed. When I exited the kitchen and passed through the lobby, that portrait of the witch came into view. The big clock did too. It was almost exactly 24. Then, the sound of the bell rang out, proclaiming that midnight had arrived. As I listened, I looked up at Beatrice's portrait. Exactly 24 hours ago, I met you. What were you trying to say? And where did you go? Where do you come from? Cardinal Joe. Just who in the world are you? Golden Witch Beatrice. I haven't solved a single one of the riddles surrounding you. Show yourself and fight me. Then, the witch showed herself. Like a guest of honor finally appearing, she showed herself on the landing at the top of the big staircase. So you finally show yourself. Been kept bored for a whole day. Correct? I gave you a whole day. Was that enough for you to fully exercise the rights of the human side? Yeah, I was bored after all. I did a heck of a lot of it. Enge was a good piece. She was. Sniff, sniff. Wah, wah. It was a good piece. Don't you speak Enge's name. He appeared through a miracle, sacrificed herself, and didn't use the tenacity required for certain victory. Don't you speak Enge's name. The brutal death was something you did. If you hadn't seen the death, you wouldn't have grown serious. Without the wake-up call of Enge's ill-fated future, your tenacity for victory would not have been born. You piece. True. Will Smeevy prediction Umineko is an oracle? What? Will Smeevy? What's Smeevy? That makes no sense. I told you not to speak Enge's name. In short, she was a necessary sacrifice. Otherwise, an anger great enough to kill me would not have been born into you. The rivalry between us cannot be destroyed. Damn you, Lady Burncastle. It's about feeling called out a trump card and a piece. No matter how much a piece acts, it does not stray from the board. But no matter how much power a trump card wields, it is always thrown away after it is used. What's a deer? What the fuck is deer? That's a new term, I never heard of it. Enge was truly a good trump card for you. Don't you speak Enge's name! Agreed. Fuck you. At Battler's angry roar, Bito finally stopped talking. Oh, the song is called Dare. Is that what it's called? You know, I don't have time to play around in a place like this anymore. Even a tie will keep Enge waiting. So I'll break through you. Take my family and go back home. I won't waste a second playing witchy games with you. Can you not know that? I'm probably too old. In that case, what should you do? You know, don't you? Is this like a new Gen Alpha term? Dare for like music? Yeah, I'll beat you down! I'll blast away all witches, magic, illusions, and delusions! Come on, let's get started! I won't let you trick me again! Resumes the game, okay? I'll tear apart the witch's veil concealing the outright lie you are! You talk too much? All you have to do is honestly say, I'll kill you. Yeah, if those are the words you want, I'll say them. This is the first and last wish of yours that I'll lend an ear to. Say it in red, please. That would be so funny. The fuck is there? I thank you. Oh. I'll kill you. Completely fucked up cropping, by the way. Very well. Let us begin, battler. Yeah, the time for the witch hunt has come. Try and chase me. Try and corner me. Try and kill me. I expect a lot from you. Try and show me what your little sister gave you in the last moments. Bring it on! Let us cry burn the world with a white light. And if you open your eyes amidst the darkness, the two of them could be seen in the rose garden. Fuck you, Trevoki, don't... I'm banning you. I'm banned. Permabanned. Permabanned. Goodbye. Who shall make the first move? Me. Oh, bold. In the rose garden, beautiful rose petals danced. So this is when they start solving riddles. Okay. So we're gonna solve a bunch of stuff. It would have been cool if I had time to think about it, because this is only now that we get info, but on the other end, I doubt he's gonna solve everything. There we go. The rose garden, beautiful rose petals danced. The color of those rose petals was red. Did the fact that they faced each other in this beautiful rose garden prove or make claim to a red single truth? That must be why the roses are red. But in the lineage of flowers, roses represent passion. You say this the exact moment the violin kicks in. Not truth. The flower for truth is a forget-me-not, and the flower is blue. I'll go for everything with my blue truth. From the very beginning of everything. I'll start from the very first game. Oh, this is all... What? Wait, from the very start? But I didn't even start with I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. I want more time. Very well. Let's see what you've got. Come. There you go. I've already proclaimed it, but I'll say it again. This isn't just for the murder of Dotku Ninja in the last game. This will tear apart every game since the beginning. Shiromiya Kinzo is already dead. So the true number of people on the island is 17. By adding an unknown person X, that makes 18 people. Supposing the existence of that person X, the crime is possible even for all 70 people of alibis. I've already brought it up. Right? Right here. That's already posted. But she's gonna say no. By this, even though the number of people reaches 18, it's still possible for corporate X to exist and carry out crimes, even if all 18 people seem to have alibis. That music is peak. Oh my god, that music is great. This is amazing. Bert Fool's murders in episode 1 by supposing an unknown person X. Furthermore, it's even possible to explain the mystery of Kinzo's evaporation from enclosed room sealed by the receipt, by making the bold assumption that Kinzo was unfair in the first place. And has beat the consensus with red truth. The illusion of the witch from episode 1 has been completely smashed. This blue truth is valid. The witch of blue truth that Butler had thrown stabbed right through the top of Bito's left foot. Was the red blood pouring out from there? Or protest being made by her red truth? Bito shot one of her eyes tight, enduring the unbearable pain of the blue truth that denied her. Not bad. But I mustn't be denied yet. I mustn't be killed yet. This is not yet enough. In the subsequent games, there were mysteries that couldn't be explained with that alone, right? Which mysteries? In the final stages of the second game? George took Goda and Shannon with him, barricaded them in Tatsuya's room, and was killed. Yeah, my theory is Shannon killed both of them and then killed herself. Because it is the only way Shannon can die facing down on the table, the other head laying on the table in front of the mirror. There's no way this can happen unless she kills herself. Unless there's also like a trap inside the mirror, which I don't believe anymore. Shannon killed herself and killed everyone too. The key to unlock Natsu's room was locked up inside the room, and all of the remaining keys that could unlock the door were in Rosa's hands. Even if the culprit X existed, it should have been impossible to construct a closed room. The blue wedge that pierced Beat shook. He was resisting, fighting to pull it out. No, that doesn't shake my blue truth. The culprit X was to obtain a master key. That's not even close to a closed room. No, it was impossible for the culprit to obtain one. Even then, it's not possible because Goda was laying against the door. That's exactly the thing, right? That's exactly the thing we talked about with the mistakes. Goda was laying against the door, and Shannon was facing the mirror. Those are two things that make it impossible to enter the room and to kill them without going through the mirror. And the mirror is not like, there's nothing inside the mirror. I mean, you can make a wall of blue truths or whatever, but there is no way to enter that room. All the master keys were under Rosa's control. Okay. I'm not gonna include them in the episode 2 shots. Maybe I will later. Episode 2. Natsui's room. But it's meaningless if Rosa was a culprit. Thank you, Pulpo. Rosa handed the key over to culprit X by some method, assisting in the closed room murder. After that, she retrieves the key by a similar method. I don't believe it. You did say, Polopo, you did say you had a AP test to send me, right? Oh my god, that music is peak. Listen to this shit. Listen to this. This is peak. This is what peak sounds like. Too naive, Beto. I already guessed that much at a time. Yeah, it already played in the past. I don't remember where, but it already played. I can't tell you where. I don't believe this is true. Or at least this never crossed my mind. Yes, you did, didn't you? Yeah, it's a golden slaughter melody. Yeah, you're right. The wedge had been gradually losing its sparkle, and it seemed as though it was about to be pulled out. We're getting strong blue again thanks to Battler's additional blue truth. I don't need to Beto again, eating into her foot. Beto let out a cry of anguish and of pain. Not yet. This is still nothing. Not yet. Not yet. On to the third game. The sixth link closed rooms. The murders of Rosa and Maria. Dad and rest death in the mall. The murders of Unclass and Aunt Natsui. All of that can be explained. No. No, we cannot. Beto, strike back already. Give me a second. This argument was already won back then. And even that final riddle you proposed forever, the murder of Dr. Nenjo, can be explained with an 18 thrown in person X. That breaks through the whole third game. Can you counter that? As I've said, right? I'm glad I figured that one out before the game, like, before the game pointed it out in the beginning of episode 4. That's like the one thing I called out so far. The one thing I figured out. I'm proud of that. I'm smart enough to solve one thing, and that's it. It failed everything else. I'm so good. Of course. This much is nothing to worry about. In that case, let me explain George's disappearance from the guest house. We shall add to the right truth. George did not go down the stairs of the guest house. Oh! Oh, that's... He flew out through the window, fuck. Well, awkward. And I'll add that was in red, right? I'm not sure now. George suddenly vanished from the second floor as a guest house. He had a jetpack! He had the jetpack, that's it. That's what it was. Eva, who had been on the first floor, claimed that no one had come downstairs. But because of the blue truth, George could have snuck down to the first floor and escaped while Eva was busy carrying crosses and Natsui's corpse outside. But by adding an additional red truth, B2 had denied the possibility. To go outside without going down the staircase to the first floor, he would have had to leave by the window. But all of the windows had been locked from the inside. So what? And just like you said, he flew out the window, right? There was a lawn, so we couldn't tell if he jumped down and it was raining so hard. Any light traces would have disappeared. I'll use the red truth again. All windows and doors leading to the outside were locked from the inside. Furthermore, it is impossible to lock any of those from the outside. George had no technique by which to lock them. Oh, he flew out the window means he could have just jumped out. I'll use more of the blue. I said it myself at the time. In that case, everything works as long as someone locked the window after George escaped through it. Oh my god, yeah! If Eva says to George, George, there's an escape. There's a secret escape at this room inside the manor. Go there, jump down. I'll tell the others. And George's like, okay. George jumps down. Rushes to the manor and then she locks it. Oh my, I didn't even think of that. Honestly, I kind of put it aside. Battler finally being competent. You got everything correct. No. No. Welcome, great 35p, but no. Instantly. She's gonna let him say everything, right? And then she's gonna say, Kinzo is still alive. I've already pointed it out in the past. About like, oh, I figured that one out before they said it, and then I was like, no, this doesn't make sense. Mostly because it really feels that like every murder in episode 3, especially, they say, oh, every murder has been completed by, also this should go up. They say, oh, every murder was committed by, a little X-person. No, they say it's all Eva, but it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things Eva couldn't have done. I think there's another person that's killing people. And I think they're gonna say so. At some point. And it's gonna boil back down to the thing I've always said. When they say human, there are multiple red truths. There are multiple objective truths because it depends on your point of view. So when she says human, she has not defined the term human. At no point in time. She has not defined what a human is. So, you know. Let's go back to it. Nothing difficult about that. It does show some competence though. No escape into something like this. Bita couldn't remove the blue wedge that was buried into her foot. The fake witch was burned more and more by that forceful blue. But still nothing that shakes that blue truth in any of the first 3 games. In that case, the only game that can prove you're a witch is this game, the 4th game. It's having you counter with the red, that is so. I shall have to prove witches using only this game. Very well, give me everything you've got. There's nothing strange about the murder of the 6 people in the dining hall. I need to emit a theory because I still haven't done so. Actually, I did, somewhat. We have a 1 hour 30 gap. We have a 1 hour 30 gap. Right there. Everything must have happened during it. Because the kids left. A long time before Kinzo arrived. In fact, Kinzo arrived late. I wrote a lot of shit, but... whatever they saw doesn't matter. They could have seen like whatever. I don't give a shit what they saw. I don't think it's trapdoors. I think they were knocked out. They just misremembered. The 18-person X went wild with a gun and killed everyone. If Pitfalls, there's a chance that Pitfalls surely were in there. Wait. Episode 4. Everything. Okay. Here we go. I didn't mean to do 59. I need 50, please. Here we go. So the pitfalls, there's a chance that pitfalls surely were in there. It's possible to explain it using Kiri-san's theory. So within that poison dart shooting device X, which can knock out a person instantly, exists. Yeah. So far I agree. Okay, let's continue. The murder of George, Jessica, and those who escaped from the dungeon can also be explained with guns, just like the dining hall. There's nothing strange about it. Okay. But I'm sure you've got a counterattack, right? Bring it on! You got a sword! This is for Person X! He's based on the theory that Kinzo was already dead. I knew you would make that claim. That's why I took Kinzo out of the study. All members in the family conference welcomed that Kinzo, right? All of those who met at the family conference acknowledged the presence of Kinzo. I gotta move it along. All the way back here. There we go. I fucked it. There we go. 60. I'm gonna save just in case. Did I fuck up anything? No. Save. Okay. Every episode has more and more shit put on the chart. It's crazy. The Retrieve Comfort Belt by Hal. Yeah, it's slowly building it up. Very slowly. That's right. But grandfather was seriously ill, bedridden on the verge of life and death, right? If he was so worn out that he looked like a different person, maybe no one would have cared, right? I can't live with this. That grandfather was a different person. A body double. A different person the relatives mistook for grandfather. You're reaching. You're reaching. This is a reach. I can't live with this. No person would mistakenly Shirmiya Kinzo by sight. No matter what disguise might be used, they would not mistake Shirmiya Kinzo by sight. Kinzo evil twin. This is silly. I don't know what he's gonna say, Battler. How the fuck do you counter that? Without, like, with your current theory, Battler, how can you counter that? Then I use this. In the second game, when you announced with the Red Truth that there were 5 Master Keys, even though there could have been more than 5 in the first game, you changed the premise of the later games. Why are you going back to this? That's... What? The world couldn't handle Kinzo's, yeah. It was possible that Kinzo's life or death status was changed for the 4th game. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about the entire time. It's possibility. It's possibility, guys. Here we go. Therefore, Kinzo's present in the 4th game doesn't serve as proof that he wasn't present in the previous games. Therefore, even if you suppose that the 6 murders of Dining Hall were carried out by grandfather, contradicts nothing. He just has to say, like, 3 words. More like 9, I think. 9 or 10. Kinzo is alive at the start of the games. Let me counter this way. Kinzo's life and death statues is the same as the start of all 4 games. Yeah. Here we go. He's fucked. Battler, what the fuck do you say to this? The step was not different for the 4th game alone. Oops. Repeat it. Kinzo was alive at the start of every game. At the start time of every game. I refuse to repeat it. I won't answer, Butler. Okay. Wait, I think she's waiting until the very end. Until he's like exposed every single theory he has. So he can't rework them on the fly. I'll give you the red truth you so desire. You're standing in my way, Gizer. Are you putting yourself on the line to protect Beatrice, this most beloved witch of yours? Weighing, the damn geezer came into view. Is he trying to be some kind of knight, blocking the path between me and Beto? A battler, are you capable of surpassing me? I won't let you reach! I will not let you reach! Not to the Golden Witch's eye, you see? I'm more than aura. This is crazy. You thought this reasoning cannot surpass even me alone? Die! What? The fuck? Okay. It's those jet black capes spread us so it would swallow the world. Okay, those fucking dragons? Becoming the snout of a vast black dragon that came at me trying to swallow me in one gulp. Like a dragon, yeah! Holy shit, it's damn it, Danny guy! Facing that black dragon's roar, I count my breathing and close my eyes lightly. Pendragon, I've heard the word before, I don't know what it means. Close my eyes lightly. Swallow you up in one gulp? Disappear, inexperienced fool! Quiet, you damn undying ghost. Oh, so you call me a ghost? You intend to see it through to the end? This theory that I'm already dead? It will prove fatal to you. Be swallowed up in the first trial of the fourth game and disappear. The black dragon's vast mouth, its snout, its fangs, swallowed Battler whole. In that instant, Battler suddenly opened his eyes. Thanks, Beatrice. Your third game became a full toll to my counterattack. What? See ya then, Gizer. This is goodbye. It's the basis for claiming that Kinzo dead. Even in fourth game. I propose the following theory. Very well. Come with all you have, my descendant. Here I go, you damn Gizer. My theory is that the name of Kinzo gets passed on. Oh, that's a huge one. Holy shit. Oh, that's smart. No fucking way. You sure me Kinzo was already dead? But no, wouldn't it be Goldsmith or Beto that gets transferred? That is a smart move. That is, I did not expect that at all. And he passed that name on to someone else. Everyone acknowledged that. That way, all of those who met at the family conference acknowledged the presence of Kinzo. Mars. I did not expect. Okay. There wasn't even any need for someone to disguise themselves as grandfather, because everyone acknowledged the new Kinzo. They didn't actually mistake Kinzo by sight. As long as this theory is not denied, nothing can change the fact that you are dead. Okay, and then the final one. There we go. That's our boy. That is our boy. That is our boy. He's gonna get countered. This is the final blow. Damn geezer. I meant that you repeat it. Among all of the people there, not one had multiple different names. You didn't see it. Oops. Yeah, right there. I cannot! Rest in peace, damn geezer. Thank me, you are finally able to die. This is your requiem. Take it and drop dead. Ushiromiya Kinzo was already dead. That's right, definitely deserve to be pitied, since whenever you find your corpse, it's always completely burnt. Yeah, I did point that out, but I didn't make the connection. I was always like... It feels like it's gonna be countered. There's no way this ends already. That was a device to hide the fact that he was passed. That time was passed since your death. Then you passed that name onto someone else. With this fury, even though you were dead, Kinzo was able to appear at the family conference. Oops. I'm recording all this shit. I will be going over all of this later. Come on, Beatrice. Counter it. Counter it already. Oh, is that? It's checkmate. Several dozen blue stakes bored into Kinzo's ghost. Their terrible destructive power wouldn't let the ghost recover again. But you saw Kinzo in episode 2. What do you mean? You saw Kinzo at the start of episode 2. I don't get it. I don't get how that can work then. You saw him with your own eyes. He talked to you. It's not like you never saw him ever. Kinzo, thank you for everything. Rest in peace. I will not forget my time spent with you. Do we just assume that everything past midnight on October 5th is not real? Is this what we're assuming now? Dispersing along with the shadow of the black dragon as golden flower petals scattered, Ushiromiya Kinzo became a gold-colored cyclone and disappeared. Even after death, he had fought for the sake of the woman in love. There's still problems with it. We talked about Natsume's room and he said, oh, they could have acquired a key. But there's so many inconsistencies throughout all of episode 2. Even if you assume there's a key, there's a bunch of places that don't work unless you accept that the servants were in on the murders. As I said, the entire Natsu room, Goda was laying against the door, making it really hard to open, and thus it's impossible to lock the door from the inside. It is impossible to lock the door from the inside and not escape. If you can't escape after locking the door from the inside, that means you are still in the inside. That means the culprit either came through a fucking wall or it's Shannon. And Shannon died in a way that cannot make sense unless it came through the fucking mirror. So I don't agree. I don't believe in what Butler is saying. It doesn't make sense. It's the same shit. There's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense in all of this. I've already pointed it out, but it bothers me all the time. Aunt Eva isn't the culprit for everything in episode 3. That doesn't work either. It doesn't work either. Because there's a bunch of things that she would not have been able to do all alone. She was able to do Rosa and Maria. I can agree with that. But the 3 murders of Kiri, Rudolph, and the other, I think she was still like, she went back at that time. And if she didn't have stakes. She never used a stake in any murder related to her. Right? Natsuki and Cross didn't die. Maybe Goda killed himself. That could work too. Yeah. I agree. That could work too. So it's not a random 19 person. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe Goda killed himself. Maybe Shannon did. Maybe George. Although my theory is on Shannon, because Shannon had the stake come out through her head onto the other side, onto the floor. So it can only be done. But I would have had to like shoot her in the face and then set up her corpse. But no matter what, it is impossible for a 19 person to have done it from outside. Not possible. No. In any way, shape or form, this is silly. Even if Rosa ended the key. However, this could explain other things for like other parts of episode 2. In fact, that could explain... I think this could explain the old bullshit about the powder room and the letter there. If Rosa herself placed a letter in the powder room because she was told to do so in order to escape with the gold, which she did. She tried to escape with a gold ingot. Right? There was this old bullshit after midnight. She could have been an accomplice in a low way of just giving the keys, but she could have been an accomplice. But this doesn't explain everything. Like, Battler is speaking so confidently with his blue truth, explaining like one thing, but there's still like 20 things every episode he has not solved. So none of this makes sense, and this is pissing me off. I know they're gonna address it like instantly, right? And I'm sorry if it's annoying that I cut off in the middle of the event, but I do want to address this. I do want to make my own theories and figure shit out. This is something I want to figure out. It's something I want to understand. Isn't it doubt that your love and madness was a real thing? Don't hate me. Let the dead sleep. Don't wake them. You're up next. This is the end for you too. Rito still couldn't pull out the blue wedge that pierced her foot. She realized that she was on the verge of death. I've gone along with you a whole bunch. I think I've more than fulfilled any responsibility I had to play with you. It's about time to finish things up. I've got a lonely little sister waiting at home. Let me take my leave with my old family. And kill me? In that case, try and kill me? I won't run or hide, and by now I won't even be able to avoid it. Come on, show me a butler. You've got it. With an 18 person X from the Kinzo's death theory, everything that remained has been pierced through. George and Jessica's death in the Forest game can also be explained by culprit X. Yeah. No, I agree on that one. Makes sense. Give me a second. 50... I just added it really quick. And the 5 who escaped from the dungeon were killed, and the 2 in the garden shed, and Maria in the end. No, I agree. But they all mention accomplices. Although their testimony could just be assumed to be incorrect, so who cares? All of this can be explained with 18 Person X. There's nothing strange there at all. Oop. With this, I fully explained the culprit for using humans for all games. Beatrice, this is checkmate! No. No, it's not. Beatrice, who couldn't dodge, had several blue stakes driven into her and was skewered. Vito grabbed at them, trying to pull them out somehow. What? There's no way that's the solution. That would be so lame. She's gonna counter, right? I mean, I know the questions arc is like over, but I... Stop spamming that fucking emoji, I swear to God. That got me. Fuck you. It hurts. This will kill me, won't it? If I don't pull this out. I'll die. But enough of the pain. Wherever he smiles. 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 But enough of the anguish. With both hands, Vito firmly grasped onto one of the blue stakes. Naturally, the power of the witch-denying blue truth burned her hands. Unable even to hide the tears at the pain, Vito howled and tried to pull the stakes out with all her might. Lambda Delta is gonna pull in, right? If I can pull these out, I'll die! This is my final counter-attack! Ben Battler, how do you explain my several acts of magic? The very first time those appeared was in the second game, when I fixed my ass pumpkin marshmallow. At that time, Rosa definitely witnessed that magic. Certainly, at that time, Rosa witnessed gold butterflies gathering and the fixing of a marshmallow by the miracle of magic. Rosa alone witnessing it isn't very credible, right? That's why I increased the number of witnesses to the uppermost limit later on. Which is what happened in this last game. The summoning of my minions, and brutal murders due to magic. Oh, but those were witnessed by a great many people. That in itself proved that my magic exists. How do you explain that, Battler? Stalemate. What? Magic exists because magic exists. Then in the rules of a Bronze Tube trial said that you couldn't use that kind of argument. Yes, you're right. No matter who or how many people witness magic, that cannot become proof of magic's existence. Whether all the music you've shown exists or not, I cannot ignore it all and explain things with... I can ignore it all and explain things with humans. That's my undeniable right. Am I wrong? At those words, blue stakes lit on an even brighter light, knocking my ends away. My ends away? It's from Beatrice's perspective now? Seems I can't pull them out after all. As Butler is now, even if I pull up a witness for each individual bit of magic and demand an explanation, probably use some kind of move to deny all of them. Not just the magic of the marshmallow I showed Rosa, but all the miracles of magic. So I can no longer even claim to be a witch without questioning him about something like, oh, marshmallow was fixed. I'm in such an inferior position that I must fight over such trivialities. Come on! Maybe possible for me. I know that. It was to be a game without victory from the very beginning. It was only natural that the day of my defeat would eventually come. I thought, up until today, just to lose to Battler. I began the game, thinking I might be able to win. Even if I wouldn't be able to win easily, I believe that a game repeating endlessly, a miracle will eventually occur. After all, I had certain willpower on my side, and an unwavering desire to win with certainty. It would be very funny, yeah. Just one marshmallow, that's it. However, I've not lost the miracle completely. And a certain willpower resides in Battler, leaving me certainly without even a 1 in a million chance of a miracle. Perhaps I should say I've been left without a miracle or certainty. I will have no victory and no interim tie. The only resolution allowed to me is to continue on resisting until defeat is given to me in this game. That's right, I'm fighting only to be killed by Battler. Looked into Battler's eyes. That which was reflected inside of them wasn't me. The figures of the little sister waiting for his return, and the family he had to bring back, were reflected into his eyes. To him, my existence is already not even that of an individual. Obviously, from the very beginning, he's been trying to deny the individual that I am. Yes, that last game. Sure was fun. Although we're tricking you a bit. But for just a short period of time. It felt like we understood each other and that was fun. I called it! I called it! I called it! See? See? She's still in love! I called it! That's the one mystery I solved! Holy shit! Guys! I'm actually smart! Okay, okay. This is huge. This is huge. You all don't understand. This is huge. I'm so smart and cool. That's right. Should have made my move then. I should have continued for eternity with Battler still totally fooled. But that's just no good, right? That just wouldn't be true victory. This is checkmate, Beatrice. Bito had been run through with several blue stakes, skewered over and over to the ground while still standing. Because of that, she wasn't even able to fall over. Still looking up into the sky, was soon in place. That tragic form might have been a fitting end for the cruel witch who had endlessly toyed with 18 people's lives, who had killed constantly for hundreds and thousands of years. Gently, I saw someone was mourning over something. Rain began to fall. Amid that rain, Bito was soaked and crucified. Is it over, Bito? Not again. Can't even let out a squeak. No, yet. You and a woman will let things end with just this. Yeah, I agree. Is she giving up on purpose? Don't be. Ridiculous. How can you look at this and think that it isn't over? Quickly, deliver the final blow. He wants to die. That's it. That's what it is. Just say it with your blue truth. According to this, witches do not exist. Say it. Just say it. With that single blow. Just put a stop to my breathing. Let's use less. Oh, it would expose me to even further shame. Isn't it settled already? Stand up. Our brawl still isn't over. Not over, you say? That just now wasn't you losing. You just stopped and gave up? Yeah! That's what I'm saying. Isn't that enough? Wouldn't giving up mean your victory? You should return to your little sister. Right away. Just throw me away. Right here. Did I tell you? I will run away. And I won't let you run away. Just who are you? And what in the world is it that you want? If you want to know, why don't you just try your favorite move? Isn't it better this way? With me as a mere delusion. An illusion. Isn't that enough? It's all useless. Zen dame da ze. I won't let you run away. I'll break through you. How could I let you run away like this? I won't let you run back to the darkness of illusions while you're still all lazy like this. I'll break through you. Completely. So stand up. Don't act all frail like that. You're still hiding several moves. I can tell. Why won't you just let me escape? Dad, Mom, and Henge, all the cousins, all the relatives, and all the servants. You talked with them so much and killed them. Definitely won't forget that inhumanity. Whatever its job is, he does. Based. Very based. I can still feel Henge's arms on my shoulders. Won't forgive your inhumanity. I won't let you get away like this. But his eyes burnt with the flame of hatred. The time had long since passed during which pitiful behavior would have earned this compassion. After being tricked once, but it will never sympathize with me again. Instead of the wolves and sheep puzzle. This is like the boy who cried wolf, isn't it? What am I supposed to do? What should I do? Fighting relentlessly only to avoid admitting defeat. Spitting endless torture for the endless witch. He's endlessly harassing Battler to avoid giving him victory. Also part of being the endless witch. Yeah, he found a goal to fight. He didn't. Or her. It really was just playing around. But now, now that she lost Maria, she doesn't have anything. She doesn't care. She needs the reason. It's so sad. Is this what the endless magic is? I've had enough. I've had enough. Of endlessly being toyed with by witches. I would have no victory and no tie. In that case, there's only one result that can release me. It's time I succumbed to the path of witches. Since the day I made that contract with demons. It was promised I would make my end through tragedy, was it not? What's wrong? Golden Witch Beatrice! If you're the ruler of Konjima, show me a majesty fitting for that, even at the very end! I'm terrible at doing screams. Lightning. The world was smashed with white. Fitting last moments was the ruler of Konjima. Still pierced by the blue stakes, Vito faced the rainy sky and let out a cry of laughter. Then, she slowly raised her face and stared at Battler. Oh! Just when I was about to praise your good fight and end up over victory! You shall regret that pride. Absolute cinema. Oh my goodness. This isn't something for you to hand over. I'm gonna take it from you. Then good for you, right? You could never accept an easygoing victory where I just say, maybe witches existing isn't so bad. Isn't that the very reason you intentionally fell apart like that at the end last time? That's right, last game you took pity on me just once, didn't you? So now I'll pay back that debt. Stand! My enemy, my golden witch, Beatrice! My golden witch. Fool. Yeah, no, he's in love too. You fool! You simpleton! You think you'll get another chance? When Vito yelled, the blue stakes that pierced the chest blew to bits and disappeared. However, the blue wedge that pierced the foot in the very beginning did not vanish. You can't pull it out yet. You can't pull out the blue truth as the 18th. Next. I'll respond to the one thing you told me to repeat. As your reason, Ginzo is already dead at the starting time for all game. What? Okay! What? Oh my god! Okay, so my entire theory of, like, the wordplay about who's human and who's not human is completely wrong. For fuck's sake. I thought I was smart with this. I had my original theory. I already had the original theory. I thought this. I came up with this first before the game told me. I came up with this first. But I was like, oh, there's no way that's it, because they stated it at the very start of episode 4. For me, there was no way that they would state it at the beginning of episode 4 and it would stay proven true. Oh, fucking hell. This means that you can take one person out. For now, I proclaim that no more than 18 humans exist on this island. I will lower that by 1 for Kinzo. Let's go! There we go. But why? What does it change if Kinzo is already dead? This does change the very beginning of episode 1. With like the whole thing about Natsui seeing Kinzo and everything. But why would Dr. Nanjo lie about this? Why would so many people lie? I mean, no, I can understand for Natsui. And it does explain the whole thing. If he was never there in the first place, I didn't even think of that. In episode 1, the way he disappeared, he was just dead already. He was already in the boiler room, all along. But that solves one mystery. It doesn't change shit. Oh my god. So everything we've seen of Kinzo is completely fake. We've never seen the actual Kinzo. Oh, that's sad. No more than 17 humans exist on this island. That excludes any 18th person. In short, this 18th person X does not exist. She still said no more. She still said no more. She didn't say 17 humans exist on this island. So, my theory is still not wrong. Okay, we're rolling. We're rolling. We're doing this. All right. Grok is destroyed. The claims of white genocide in South Africa were greatly exaggerated. That arc was amazing. Or like every time you ping Grok, no matter what you asked it, it would just start talking about white genocide in South Africa. I don't know if you guys remember. That was crazy. It's the same thing where like it went on about being Mecha Hitler. Did you not see it? Wait. The claims. Here. Found it. Let me just show it. No, I don't want to send it by email. Fuck off. Give me a second. What? Okay, give me a second. Here. Showing it. Right here. I need to go into a white spot just in case. Right here. How many times has HBO changed their name? It changed it a couple times. Winning reflects corporate strategy, not consumer demands. Regarding white genocide in South Africa, some claim it's real, sending every fucking message it ever sent. For like, I think a week or a few days, I don't remember. Just every message this take about white genocide in South Africa. It was fucking crazy. It also was the same with like Mecca Hitler. Give me a second. I can't even show that on stream. I can't even show that on stream. I just looked it up. It was insane what it sent. Just type Mecca Hitler Grok if you want to see it, but it is extremely bad. It is very bad. So like, know what you can already expect it from simply the name. Anyways, let's continue. Did I put that on screen? This applies to all games. All games! Okay, that is big. All games is big. Oops. If it's a race, better not show it. That's exactly what I want to do. It just showed a bunch of red splashes. I hope my theory is correct.
Yep.
Looks like you're still hiding some pretty crazy stuff up your sleeve after all. This island, which had no more than 17 humans on it, has been set up to appear as though there were 18. Taking off one off makes 17, so we finally reached the correct number. Let's raise the wedge I knocked into you has been removed. We'll have to start the fight over. Back from square one. The blue wedge that had soon beaten in place broke apart. There was no longer anything piercing her. The scars on her body had disappeared completely. There stood, just as Battler had hoped for, the figure of the majestic golden witch who ruled Rokkenjima. Then come, Battler! Once more from the beginning! Try and break through everything with the blue truth! I too will no longer play, run or hide. If you are worthless, then I shall end this match right here, right now. With my grand victory, I'll make you regret your refusal to compromise for eternity! Come, starting from the first game. Okay. How long is there until this is over? Because this sounds like a good point to stop and for me to refine my theories and present like an expose. If it's like 10 minutes left, I'll finish it. No clue, TBH. Awkward sauce. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Should I stop here at the next stream? Because we're still the witch tea party. And normally I stop in like 23 minutes. Should I stop at this point? And then when I come back, I like show everything I've gathered in one comprehensive theory. If you count the... I'm not counting the witch tea party. I don't think I want to count the witch tea party. I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. I honestly don't know what I should do. It depends on if you guys want to see me go over everything I know. Yeah, exactly. Then I'll do big theories. And then Sunday will be the time where I stream from 8 p.m. until it's over. If it takes 4 hours for me to go through everything, we'll go through that. But right now, starting from the first game, this is it. We'll go over everything. There's still a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. Banger music, by the way. There's a lot of stuff that I should approach. Mainly, and mostly, like, why was Kinzo already dead? I don't understand what that changes. Why make him already dead? I think that's what bothers me. It could have been alive. It could have just said Kinzo's alive. I guess that's to explain like the couple mysteries that there were. I think the only mystery that solves, right? The only mystery it solves is episode 1. The fact that Kiri figured it out. I thought Kiri was reaching. I thought Kiri was being silly by asking him to like show up, right? I was like, Kiri, why would you ask this? Like, what happens if Kinzo shows up? Then you're fucked. But then Nenjo and Cross, both Nenjo and Cross were like, oh, they were working together to hide his death then. All along. Kinzo was dead all along? I'm still, I don't know. I don't understand what this leads to. None of my theories get countered by this. So what does it change? Oh my god, I just realized. Oh my god. I just understood. The reason she said no more is that everyone else is already dead. Since the very beginning, the only live person is Battler. Everyone's dead already. That's what this is all about. Battler is already, like, is the only one alive. By the time Battler arrives on the island, everyone's already dead. I think that's why. That's why during like the episode 1, there was such an extended scene on the boat. Because when he was on the boat, everyone died there. And the boat guy just dropped their body off with Battler. Battler is left on the island for like 2 days, completely like drugged out of his mind. Battler killed everyone. That is an interesting theory, but I'm gonna say that they all died from like mushrooms except Battler because he's like antitoxin mushroom stuff in his veins. That's the anti-magic everyone talked about. What if Battler, like during his stay with his grandpas, they just like drip fed him a shit ton of like magic mushrooms and shit? And because of that, he's built up a huge tolerance? So he can't hallucinate anymore. And that's the anti-magic toxin. Right? That's his resistance to drugs. It's like Killua from Hunter x Hunter, right? Just fed him poison constantly, non-stop, so that he can't be affected by poison anymore. That's what it is. Holy shit, I figured it out. I can't believe oh my god, I'm so smart. People don't understand how smart I am. And I think that's crazy because, like, have you seen what I just thought up? I cooked. Which one of me a battler is real? He is! He truly is! Okay. We're gonna stop here. I'm gonna cook up some theories. I want to like have a comprehensive theory of everything, right? It will probably be destroyed, but I want to come up on stream and be able to say, I have a theory for every mystery. For every mystery, I want to have a theory. I'm pretty happy with episode 2. I'm pretty happy with episode 2 because during episode 2, I spent so much time thinking about it, and I'm happy to say I got some leads. I got some leads. I don't have the truth. I have some leads to the truth. I'm happy to say that because I had done before. We'll see. I'll try to figure out everything. We'll see how it goes. I'll have to do a lot of thinking. And I'll leave you guys on this. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.